Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I have special guest R.J. Eskow from the Zero Hour is here with us today. And you can find the Zero Hour. Where can you find it, Richard?
Patreon.com/the0hour.
Well, I've been a guest on that show.
You have, and shall be again, I hope.
Okay. Also with us, Ron Placone is here from Five Chords and the Truth, correct?
Hey, Jimmy. How's it going?
And you also get your news on with Ron at 10 in the morning, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Every day you live
we do a
stream.
Well, Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, okay.
And then Five Chords is on Monday because I celebrate Music Monday.
Oh,
so
that's
how
how it goes.
That's why it goes that way.
So
yeah.
we're going to have to talk about the extra 2 chords.
You know what? Cap it at 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like to play
all
it
right.
simple.
All right. Yeah.
I didn't know there were 7 chords. I don't know anything. Let's talk about the... well, we all know the richest man in the history of the world, Jeff Bezos. He's worth $110 billion now or something like that, right? You know how much it would cost to end world hunger? We looked it up. The number we found was about $30 billion. That would end... so Jeff Bezos could end world hunger for like 3 times over, 4 times over almost. Except he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Isn't that weird?
But on the other hand, he's contributed so much to humanity.
Yeah.
Like he's done. Wait a minute, and then he's
And
done.
then he helped people get in touch with their social services, because if you work for him, you're probably going to be on food stamps and stuff.
Right, and he brought all those ambulances together at his warehouse. You know, the one that was overheated was 110 degrees, and so the ambulances would wait outside every day. So he mobilized, you could say, emergency medical services.
That's right. He got
So
mobilized. So instead of air conditioning, he's showing people how to be frugal. You save money. That's how you get ahead in business. You save money on air conditioning your warehouse, and then you just have an ambulance stationed outside, and you take your workers when they pass out right to the emergency room. Saves money.
and he's helping us evolve for when we live under global warming.
right.
You know, the ones that die off, you're really not shouldn't reproduce. The ones that survive can have kids.
That's right.
Well, he's also really bringing cities together. You know, I mean, right now, a bunch of cities are engaged in a bidding war, and in a couple years, they can all come together and have a moment of regret when it backfires. So.
When it backfires and they get him, you mean? Yeah.
So let's go. The second or third richest guy is Warren Buffett. And so this was the Business Insider tweeted this out today, and it says, if you can't read it, it says Warren Buffett lives in a modest house that's worth 0.001% of his total wealth. Here's what it looks like. Okay, that's not a modest house. That, by the way, that he bought this house for $31,000. It's now worth $652,000. That's in Omaha. It's worth $652,000 in Omaha. That's not a. I'm going to guess I don't know, 6,000 square feet house. Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. So they have a little video of it, and let's play. Let's play a little bit of it. Here's the video. It says, this is the home of billionaire Warren Buffett. It's like he almost lives like a normal person. Isn't that crazy that you would just have what you needed? Like a 5-bedroom house, 6,000 square feet. He's got a sliding gate, and cameras everywhere. It's not like the guy, they make the guy like he's living above with Fonzie in the fucking garage, right? Cooking on a hot plate. Dude, he's
Right.
located in a quiet neighborhood of Omaha, Nebraska.
Look at it.
By the way,
and things.
By the way, is there a loud neighborhood in Omaha, Nebraska?
But there are hedges and trees. You know how many Americans don't have hedges and
look at
trees?
this.
Look at that. That's a nice. He's got an electronic gate. That's very impressive.
Yes.
This is his house, right?
Is this house?
That's like huge house. Are you kidding me?
He bought
when
it.
they do the panning shot. It's gigantic. I'm sorry.
It was worth $31,000 in 1958. Today that would be $250, but the house is worth $650 because real estate inflates.
The Omaha real estate boom is.
Yeah, that
Part of
boom,
that, yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
Look at that's a huge. That would be a mansion. That's a
Gorgeous
mansion.
house. Are you kidding?
That's like a South Pasadena house. I live in Pasadena, but that's the rich 6,000.
Wait.
That's a modest house. You
Wait.
could fit 6 of my houses inside that house. You could fit 6 of my houses inside that guy's house.
How is this relevant to the average person either? The lesson here is buy a house that only requires 0.01% of what you're worth. Well, for most people, that would be
like
a room at best.
Yeah.
Right.
Or nothing.
Or a cup of coffee or nothing.
if I could live in a car.
And buy it in 1958 too. That's the other lesson here. Just buy something in 1958.
Why don't you do that?
I wish I don't know.
I'm taking a lesson from Warren Buffett and investing in a tent, a used one.
I admire his frugality.
That's what this is. Look how frugal this guy is. So let's watch this.
Gorgeous house.
So 6,570 square feet. It's it's got 5 bedrooms. That's a big house. That's huge. That's a huge house. I'm sorry. 2.5 bathrooms. I grew up with 12 kids and 2 parents, 14 people in my house. We had 3 bedrooms.
Yeah. Well,
wait, 1, 2, 3. No, I'm sorry. We had 4. My dad converted the attic into a bedroom too. So we had 4 bedrooms. I slept in the basement on the floor, which I was fine with it because it was cool in the summer. And so that's frugal. This is not...
43 million Americans live in poverty. Millions of Americans live in extreme poverty. Housing and urban development rules say that even if you live in extreme poverty, you have to spend 30% of your income on housing. And we're supposed to admire Warren Buffett?
I guess so. There's more to this. Let's watch. So 5 bedrooms, 2.5, and he's got fences and security cameras guard his property. You know, just like a regular, normal person.
Yeah.
Modest everyday Joe.
Why hasn't Buffett moved to a more extravagant? Look at this house is freaking huge.
I know. That's what. When I saw this shot before, I was like, "Wait a minute!
This house is huge."
Yeah.
He's got the electric fence. He's got huge hedges. 6,500 square feet. That's the
gigantic.
biggest house of anyone in my family. I have 12 again. My brother was the vice president of White Castle. His house isn't that big. So this isn't. Why does this somehow?
I don't know any.
Why doesn't he live in? Why doesn't he go live in the Play District? Why doesn't he go to Times Square in Omaha? Where the fuck is he supposed to go? He's in Omaha.
It's a nice town, Omaha.
It is a nice town. I like Omaha.
I like it too.
I like the comedy club they have there. They have a nice,
It's a great
comedy
funny
club.
bone, yeah.
The woman who runs it's a nice person. I like her. So let's listen. Is there any more to this? Why hasn't he? He told the BBC, "I'm happy there. I'd move if I thought I'd be happier someplace else."
And you know, all the homeless people in this country feel the same way. They'd move if they thought they'd be happier somewhere else. This is the most tone-deaf thing I've heard since I heard the last thing about lifestyles.
This is supposed to be crazy. Oh my God, he just lives in a normal-sized mansion.
Right.
He lives in a 6,500 square foot house.
Well, this is like we were supposed to admire the Buffett rule that says that he shouldn't pay a lower tax rate than his secretary. He should pay like 10 times higher a percentage than his secretary. He should pay 90%. His secretary should pay like 15%. That was the biggest scam of all. The Buffett rule was a scam.
What people don't also realize about taxes, what poor people don't realize, or regular middle-income people, rich people realize this. So let's say we raise taxes on millionaires.
Right.
And we're going
to
to
know why you're pointing at me when you say millionaires.
Let's say we're going to raise taxes on millionaires. Millionaires are now going to say they're going to pay 70% tax. That 70% tax doesn't kick in until after their first, I don't know, $1 million or $500,000. They don't pay 70% on their first dollar. They only pay regular up until their next higher tax bracket. So often you'll hear people say, "Oh well, I don't want to earn any more money because it'll put me in a higher tax bracket."
That's right.
That's stupid because they don't tax your money under a certain level at that higher rate. Only the money you make at that higher rate. Do you understand? So if let's say you were in a tax bracket $130,000, let's just say. And if you earned 131, it would put you in a higher tax bracket. So you go, "I don't want to earn that extra $1,000. No, only that $1,000 gets taxed at that higher rate. So does that make it? No,
that's exactly right. So if it goes from 39% even to 50%, well, okay, it's only going to cost you like $50, or whatever it is. It's not going to be a lot of money. It's not going to break the bank, and it's going to help. Inequality and all that.
So, all right, let's watch a little bit. Is there any more to this? I think that's it. That's a beautiful house.
It's a gorgeous house.
It is.
Even on a rainy day. They photographed it on a rainy
day. It looks beautiful.
Yep.
So this is, and then somebody put underneath, with just one of his projects, he's polluting the drinking water of 10 million people. Sounds like a really great guy. Anyone who hoards over $1 billion is a piece of it, especially while people are literally starving all over the world. That's the point I try to make, that it would cost, you know how much it would cost to end homelessness in the United States? Again, the number we found is $20 billion. So Warren Buffett could end homelessness in America. He doesn't. He could also end world hunger. He doesn't do that. That's just weird to me that these people amass all this money that they'll never spend in their lifetime. What are you doing with it? Go. I'm sorry.
No. I totally agree. You know, when people say we can't afford Social Security and Medicare, Paul Ryan says we can't afford Social. Well, then we definitely can't afford rich people.
Right.
Since we don't have the budget for it. I'm sorry.
Jay Sakara, the person that tweeted that, has not seen Warren Buffett going around to the local eateries in Omaha. It's just he's a normal guy.
He's just a regular guy. Well,
why did they make this?
Jay Sankara needs to wake up and retire that tired
old talking point.
Yeah.
So here's what he was referring to: 5 spills, 6 months in operation. Dakota Access track record highlights unavoidable rally. Pipelines leak. I guess Warren Buffett is invested in that. Mm-hmm. That's what that guy's referring to. And this guy says, I get the point you're trying to make, but in no universe is a 6,570 square foot 5-bedroom home modest. That would be the point we're making also. The first response underneath that tweet about his house, here's the first, I buried the lead. Here's the first response. He said, good lesson here. Live below your means in order to have sustainability and freedom. Hashtag wealth management. That's what the problem is. You know those minimum wage workers who have to work 3 jobs just to pay their rent? The problem is they're living high on the hog. They think they should be able to see a doctor and have a cell phone. Those people are just living above their means. The way you get rich is you deny yourself stuff like that. So the problem with poor people is that, again, they're lazy fat cats with no money. That's what that says.
And they also think they should know what shift they're going to be working tomorrow so that they can get childcare for their kids. They also think they should be able to take the bus with an hour-and-a-half commute instead of walking 4 hours each way. It's really, that guy's got a great point.
Right. Well, I think that Jonathan should really practice what he preaches and then go out and get a home that is 0.01% of his assets. I think we should challenge him to do that. Be like, okay, Jonathan, tell us what you come up with.
Right. I think
this is just advice for average folks. Right?
And I think when Jonathan learns your lesson, well-described lesson of frugality, he probably won't be able to afford the technology to get on the internet and make comments like this.
I mean, that's just, again, a good lesson. Live below your means. So people who are poor, the problem is not that the system is set up to screw them, not that 50% of all wage earners in America, no matter what job you get, you're going to earn less than $30,000, not that 63% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency, not that 29 million Americans still don't have health care, not that bankruptcies are caused by, and more than anything else, health care, medical emergencies. Nothing to do with that. It's just he just lived, but it's just all you got to do is be a little more frugal. Anybody can make it in the United States. It's not that we have what do you call a system that takes the richest country in the world and renders half of its population poor or low income? You call that a failed system. But this is that shaming. This is that shame the poor. If you're poor, it's because you did something stupid, you didn't go to school hard enough, and working 3 jobs still doesn't guarantee you a living wage. And we're okay with that. We're okay with full-time jobs in America, in the wealthiest country the history of the earth has ever seen. We're okay with full-time jobs not giving people a living wage. That's the problem, is the system. The problem isn't that we don't have enough money to go around in the United States. The problem is we give it to a handful of people while the rest of the country is starving. That's the problem. And we've had corporate capture of our goddamn government, which is why we don't even have we're getting rid of the estate tax. So now we're going to literally have, what do they call that? Aristocracy in the United States. So,
oligarchy.
Plutocracy. We live in an oligarchy. Just so FYI, Johnny, and I'm not saying that, by the way, I know it sounds like we're picking on this guy because we are picking on him. So he just represents a certain point of view that's not germane to him. I'm pointing this out because he represents a lot of people. He represents our culture.
Right.
Our culture. He's not unique.
Exactly. Look, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I'm sure he's a nice guy too.
He's just internalized the left-wing educator Paulo Freire, the Brazilian educator, used to call it internalizing the oppressor consciousness. He said, where you get the idea that their values, what they want you to do, becomes what you want to do. That somehow you just think, if only I was a little more frugal, if only I had planned a little better. You have kids now graduating from college with $200,000 in debt. Gee, I should have planned that a little better. No, we told you to go to college and take out all that debt because
Yeah.
we told you it was going to pay off.
Yeah.
Now you're graduating into weak wages and service jobs and everything, and we're telling you it's your fault, and you're internalizing that. Now give up the shame. Don't be ashamed.
Yep.
You got screwed.
Yes. Again, that's what this sells. This sells shame to poor people. Used to be, there but for the grace of God go I. Now it's like, hey, you're poor. You did something wrong.
Right.
You have a moral failing. And again, that's not this guy making that up. That's our culture. So, Ron?
It's not even just shaming the poor either. It's also, and not necessarily this tweet, but the video, it's such an unnecessary tongue bath to the rich.
Yes.
Who cares? I mean, hey guys, Warren Buffett just lives in a home that's not like super, super huge, and it's in Omaha. That's a feel-good story, right? No, I don't feel any different. I actually don't care. Why are you telling me this? What a waste of production time.
Hey, I don't know if you know, Warren Buffett just lives in a regular kick-ass house. He doesn't live in an amazing kick-ass house. He's not gaudy.
Warren Buffett only lives better than 99.999% of the entire human race, but he doesn't live better than 99.9999999% of human. But he could.
He could.
And he doesn't. What a cool guy.
What a cool guy.
I'd love to meet the people that thought this was a great idea. So wait, what does this mean? Like, how did he help anybody? No, but like his house could be way bigger and he doesn't care that much.
Isn't he?
How does this benefit anyone? I don't know.
That Warren Buffett. I love that little crazy billionaire.
I would like him better if he's going to harm all those millions of people and pollute the environment and everything else. I'd like it better if he was living off it. The fact that he's just taking it and not doing anything with it. What a psychopath.
Well, that is psychopathic,
I hate
actually.
the guy now that I've seen this video. I had no feelings about him before.
That is the point I try to make, is these guys are amassing. He has now amassed enough money to end homelessness in the United States, yet he doesn't. He could end homelessness in the United States and still have about $40 billion left over, money he'll never be able to spend. He lives in a house worth $500,000. Money he'll never. So why wouldn't you just do it? Why wouldn't you just do it? That's what I don't. So that's what when I'm talking about, these people are like there's something wrong with them. Now, I'm not saying Warren Buffett is an evil guy. I'm saying, well, he's obviously on the spectrum. People have all said that he's on the spectrum, but there is a disconnect. There's a disconnect between someone who's that wealthy and the rest of society. There's a disconnect, obviously, between Jeff Bezos and the people who generate his income. They're in poverty. The people who generate, and he's the richest guy in the history of the world, including everybody.
Warren Buffett could house a lot of homeless people just in his house. 6,250 square feet.
That's a lot of people. All right, so thank God for the Business Insider keeping our feet on the ground, huh?
Man.
Hey, please make sure you find a way to support regular little shows like this so we tell you about the billionaires. Great way to do it is we're doing live shows. March 26th, the extra show in Austin we just added. Also, March 30th in Burbank, California. Please make sure you're subscribed. Just check. It only takes a second. Check, and then click that bell so you get a notice every time we drop a video. Or become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Thanks for your support. Oh, we're also on Steam It. We're steaming it right now.